Hi everybody, I'm Melissa McKinney from Sensia Studio, and this is my very best friend in the world, Jennifer. And she's coming and we are going to do her makeup today. Last time I did a video, I had some people reach out and say, we'd like to see makeup for more mature skin and talk about those needs. So here we are, my bestie, and we're gonna try to cover all those topics. So I work on her a lot, as you guys might know from us being such good friends. And I'm just gonna show you what we kind of do for her everyday look and just talk about that for you guys. So setup here, we already got her moisturizer on, her lip tint on, just to have her lips marinating to get them soft. So let's start working. So I like to prep her skin just with a little bit of retexturizing face primer. This is clear, it has an SPF 15 in it, just a little pea size. And I do use my foundation brush just to lightly smooth over her skin. This will fill in any fine lines and pores for her because I really want the makeup to lie beautifully on top of the skin. Sometimes foundation can sit a little patchy if you're not well hydrated or exfoliated. So this does help quite a bit. I especially like it on the outer edge of the eyes where we get those fine lines. That way when we smile and we laugh, it just doesn't seem to crinkle as much. Anyhow.
Now, Melissa, does this fill in your wrinkle lines?
It does fill in your wrinkle lines.
Okay.
Your marionette lines if you want to be nicer about it.
Okay. So now as I'm getting older, as you know, because we've been friends for 17 years now, you've seen me age and my skin age.
Yes.
So, and you know I haven't had any Botox and I'm thinking about it. But you know, I'm starting to get these lines here. And you know, as we're doing my makeup, it's starting to get a little drier under here. So could be moisturizer, but I think or realize after we're doing my makeup, it seems a little drier under here.
Right.
Okay?
So when that happens, we can always prep the skin with a little bit of peptide eye cream, get that all fluid going for her. And also, I like to use the Dual Active Concealer, and that one is a super hydrating concealer, very creamy. And just pat up under your eyes. Now, I don't put the face primer up underneath the eyes because I feel like that's going to be just a little bit too much moisture for her with an eye cream also. And this one having good skincare products in it also, that is just going to make everything just a little bit runny. So we'll just pat this in lightly. And also avoiding powder around the eyes also helps keep it from getting dry also. Now there are some occasions when we have put powder lightly around your eyes when we finish it, just because I know that you're going to have a nice evening and you need it to last a little bit longer or a little bit more brightness.
And that also helps my mascara too, right? From running?
Yes, it does keep your mascara from running.
Because I know some people don't put the mascara on their bottom lashes, but I like to put
a little bit down there.
Yes.
She's been using Revita Lash forever, you guys, and her top and bottom lashes are just so long and so full and pretty. So once she gets the mascara on, her lashes will be popping. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the Dual Active Concealer and I'm just working around the entire orbital area, making sure I get on the inner corner of the eye just to lighten and brighten. If any of you guys know me well, you know I always say pat your concealers in. I do not like to rub and pull on the eye tissue. And another thing that I like to do for her as we get more mature, we do have a little bit more of the broken capillaries around the nose. So I like to just reinforce the foundation by just putting a little tick of concealer around the sides of the nose. Sometimes people have the deeper marionette lines. She doesn't, but just for showing's sake, if you do, you can always just blend lightly a little bit of your concealer down there. And with concealer, it should just be a shade lighter than your skin. That way it blends out nicely, but it's still keeping that little bit of light around there, making it appear smoother and making it brighter. Another place you could put it, her chin line is pretty smooth, but again, some people do have that little ridge that's right there. So you could always just pop a little tiny bit right here also. Just a little bit. You don't have to pile that up. That's not good for you either. Alrighty. So with her foundation, I've played with a lot of different ones over the years. We've done the full coverage. We've done just plain tinted moisturizer, a little bit of everything, but I find what works best for her is the tinted primer. That's the SPF 20 base. So it's got that nice SPF 20 base, a little bit of color, and a little bit of primer in there also. So yes, I am kind of doubling up on her primer a bit. Airless pump, so I always say hold it away from you if you're pumping anything, just in case you're in something nice, you don't want it to splatter. Sometimes we have to do a little touch up after work, just to freshen up to go on a date or something. So what I love about my foundation brush is that I already applied her primer in with it. So it's already in with my bristles here. So I'm going to just blend out and pat, not rub too hard on the skin, just taking care of the skin's tissue.
Make sure you get those receding hairline.
Her receding hairline, yes. We can be nicer about it. Sometimes I call this area your cat ears. So we're just gonna blend that out on her there.
Oh, goodness.
I have to make her look good. She'll get on to me. I'll never hear the end of it.
Always. Always. So a brush, do you
Yes.
prefer a brush over a blending, what do you call
Like a
them?
beauty blender
Yes,
or a
beauty
sponge?
blender.
I do. I think a brush, you use less makeup, you're smoothing everything out really beautifully. And a lot of times people don't clean their sponges or beauty blenders like they should. So you're just blending skin oils, dirt, free radicals, all back in your skin, because a lot of people just toss that sponge right back in with their makeup bag. And then it's kind of knocking around with your makeup and getting dirty. That's another little tip, girls. I really like to keep my brushes separate from my makeup bag. If you're traveling and you just have one little bag, that's okay. You can always just roll your brushes up in a hand towel or something just to keep it from rolling around all your compacts and different stuff like that. You can just stick it in a cute little brush cap like I have here. Keeps it separate, packs flat, and then you're not messing up your brushes.
Now, Melissa, sometimes I know I like you to blend it in with my neck because sometimes I feel like
you just get a little bit more
have some
red.
dark spots, or I just feel like, I don't know, I'm wearing a dress or something.
I'm gonna blend that out.
Yes.
We can do that.
Okay.
So that is true. I do that with her sometimes depending on what she's wearing. So what she's talking about is you can always take a little leftover foundation on your brush and you don't have to paint the whole neck. We can just hit the little trouble spots lightly. And so for her, her concern usually is just down the front of the neck. So I just take the leftovers and pat that out just like so. And then I know I've talked in the past about not wearing too much powder. Jennifer does like a little bit of powder, so I'll take our dual active little triple milled powder, well loved, as you can see, the medium beige color. And I'll just take a really nice powder brush. This is an angle one, so it will fit and hug all angles of the face. Just give it a light swirl. Again, hold it away from your nice clothes. And I love that this powder is triple milled. It doesn't take very much. And if you notice, patting still, not rubbing or blending it into the pores. Especially, you know, women have concerns sometimes about their pores being enlarged, so you don't want to fill it with powder. So what I'm doing is I'm hitting her forehead, down her nose, the upper lip, the chin, just patting, but then I'm just barely going out into the cheek. I want everything else to stay really nice and dewy, but I do like when I'm applying her makeup, and this could apply to any of you out there. Just test it out, see how you like it. Just to blend that front. Perfect. Now, years and years and years ago, I microbladed Jennifer's brows, so they have a nice, really good shape to them, but we still get the gray hairs or the blonde hairs popping out, so. So the way I fix that is just a little bit of blonde brow gel. And even though she's using Revita Brow to grow her brows, I still like to kind of just lightly dab this into the front to give it a little more of that blonde shade. And then I'll brush the brow hairs up and over just to groom the brows, keep them in place, but also just to color those pesky ones, you know, the ones she doesn't think she has, the blonde ones. So again, just sponge up in the front a little bit more to give that color, and then brush up and over. And this particular brow gel has the little brow fibers in it. So even if you don't have a lot of hair, gals, there's those little fibers that'll grab onto the ones you do have, and it'll build upon it and make it look fluffier and fuzzier. One does want a fluffy brow, right?
One does.
One does, yes. Okay. All right, Jennifer's shadows I kind of change up sometimes. Sometimes we do pink, sometimes we do peaches. But for the most part, I really like to do her eyes bronzy. She likes them a little more on the daytime smoky side. So what I'll do is I'm going to do more of the classic eye styling that you guys have probably learned from me before. So I'll take a little small fluff brush and I'm going to work with widths. So I'll take a soft, soft peach because I'm not looking for a shimmer under her brow, and I'll just highlight with a soft peach. I'm not looking for anything stark or too bright. And just press that in. Remember, I prepped her eyelid with a dual active concealer, so it's gonna grab onto this and keep it on all day long. Actually, before I got here, the only thing I did was powder my nose and put on fresh gloss. My makeup's been on since about 6:30, so that just shows how good our high humidity makeup works, because now I'm in camera lights. After that, I'll take a little bit larger of a fluff brush, and this is where we're gonna create the background of her eyeshadow. And I did fail to mention, I'm using my trusty Champagne and Roses palette. Again, well loved. And after I've done that peach highlight, there is a beautiful caramel bronzy color in there. And we're just gonna deepen the eyelid a little bit. With darker colors, just take a little bit at a time, press it into that concealer that we prepped the eyelid with. But the reason we start with a little bit at a time is even with the best shadows, every now and then you can get a touch of fallout, and I don't want that up underneath her eye. Or we're going to have to take our trusty foundation brush and clean it up like a magic eraser, which still could happen, by the way. All right, so now I'm just starting to feather a little bit, blend that bronze in. I'm going from the lash line to her natural crease. Plus, I love doing a bronze eye with a nice navy top. I think that really pops. And she's got brown eyes, so I like to bring those out too and complement them. Sorry for the lull in conversation. I'm just blending.
Melissa, this is new, the Champagne and Roses.
It
right,
is.
To Sensia?
It is. It was a fun little project that I got to work on. A lot of times clients would ask, do you have a shadow kit that I can travel with that will do a little bit of everything? So tried to put together a little kit for everybody that had a good daytime look, good nighttime look, easy transition, something that you could pop on an eyebrow with if you need to, or create an eyeliner with, so it's like a one-box stop shop. And that was really fun to do, and we will have new ones coming soon that we are working on. So I tried to keep everyone in mind when working on it, like that everybody can wear, anybody can use this box. It doesn't matter your age. So we're gonna do a little bit of contouring on her eyes. If you notice, I've just got that nice daytime smoke going on her lid. And the contour brush I'm gonna use is just a little angled one. So when you use an angled contour brush compared to a traditional little pointy brush, which you could use either or, they get the same job done. The little point will always face the outside. So I'm going to take that color called Chocolate, point the brush outwards, press it, and then push it inwards like you're filling a little baby triangle, just to get that little nice spurt of color here. And when layering with darker colors, if it's daytime, a little bit goes a long way. You can always touch up before you go somewhere, add a little bit more. But it is the evening time, so I think I'll give her a little bit more of this side smoke here, that edge.
Now, Melissa, sometimes you do shadow on the underside,
Yes.
underneath. Now, when do you choose to do that versus just on the top? Is that just something that depends on what I'm wearing, or is it something that you just think would look good with my outfit, or is that just...
Sometimes if it's just a soft day, you know, if you're having lunch with your girlfriends or you're just running around, then I'll just add that little bit of powder up, shadow up underneath the eye, just to keep the humidity and your eyeliner from running, because a lot of people say, oh, I look like a raccoon by midday.
Right.
Now, in the evening time, I usually always run a little shadow underneath there for a little bit of smoke. So what she's talking about is I will take a little flat brush sometimes and take that matching contour color. Go ahead and look up for me. And what I'll do is I'll just shade the under eye lightly before I hit it with any pencil. And that just gives it that soft, sexy smoke without being too harsh. I don't ever use black eyeshadow on her. I just feel like that looks a little bit hard. That doesn't mean you can't. But I do like to keep it a little more of that beachy bronzy on her, that soft, elegant smoke. I like her to stay classy.
I think that's important for women our age, not to wear too much, don't you?
Too much eyeliner,
Too
agreed.
much eyeliner or too much makeup.
Agreed. A little bit goes a long way, and I just think the soft and subtletiness of it brings just a different sexiness appeal to it. Or it doesn't even have to be sexy, just pretty.
Well, I think that's one thing that is great about you, is that you do makeup so well, and I get so many compliments when I go out
Thank you.
about my makeup that it's it's never too much. It's like, who did your makeup? Who did your makeup? And I'm like,
You're like, not me.
myself. I did.
Never does it herself.
I never do.
Never.
I never do. But no, it's just so classy.
Thank
It's
you.
So classy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe that's why I don't need Botox yet, because of just that.
Maybe.
No.
No, it's mostly because I blend her shadow
Yes,
well.
no.
So we're going to blend this down now. That way she doesn't look like paint by numbers.
Yes.
So just with a nice little fluffy, clean blending brush, I'm just going to feather out the edges, because I still want that nice caramel pop coming through there with that glow to it. I'm not using anything glittery on her, but it does have the beautiful mineral reflective properties to it. So just a nice little blend here. I can always go back and blend it a little more if I need. All right, so if you notice, we've got her contour all done. I lightly smoked up underneath the eyes with the flat brush. And now what I'm gonna do is just take one of our gel pencils. I love our gel pencils. They last forever. And they're gentle on the eyes too. I know a lot of women, they'll like grab their eye, they'll pull it really tight, that way they can get their eyeliner on. That is so not necessary. And again, if we're talking about fine lines and taking care of the tissue of the skin, I don't necessarily want her pulling on her skin. So with an eyeliner, the gel works really well. Close for me. Just gliding in the lash line. I don't have to pull it. I'm just simply holding her eye still for me to put the liner on, and I'm getting right in the lash line. I don't want it too thick. I don't mind a little thicker on that outer edge to lift up her eye. I'm not doing a cat eye wing on her. I just like it to be corner to corner, really thin. Just keeping the eye popping open. You know, I really love that people compliment her makeup, but it is nice when people are like, wow, you look good. So that way everything blends in together.
Now, will you do the powder over this as well, or no?
So people that have a little bit oilier of an eyelid, sure, you could easily take the little flat brush and just gently press and wiggle into the lash line. And honestly, that's a good tip if you don't like wearing liner. Some women do not like wearing eyeliner, and that is okay. Take that flat brush, take one of the darker colors that's in the Champagne and Roses palette, and then you can just press and wiggle in your lash line. That will give you that softer version of a lash, like of an eyeliner in the lash line. That way it doesn't have to be so bold. That works with so many women, and usually people that start to be in like their late 60s, 70s and on up, they don't want to mess with an eyeliner pencil, so I just find that, yeah, good question, pressing it in there.
What happened to that style where you only went halfway in? Do you remember that?
I think some
The
people
liner
still do it.
With the liner that you only went halfway.
Yeah.
Is that on the bottom or on the top?
Yeah, top and bottom, just a little bit of halfway, just to keep the eye open. I think it still exists. I mean, people do it. I still do it on some people. I do it on young ladies all the time.
Okay.
I usually don't on Jennifer. I do a really full line on the top of her. And then for the bottom, I'll get you to look up. I don't want a strong line on the bottom. I'm just barely grazing right through her eyelashes, and I am going halfway on that. So that's definitely a valid question. Not going on the inter pink part, just right through the lashes. They'll move out of the way. All right, so that's done. And like I said, sometimes she likes powder underneath her eyes. I'm not gonna do that today because I don't want that to settle in. So we're gonna skip that. And she always does her own mascara for me, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that right now. Cheeks, my favorite one on her is the Hibiscus blush. Love this one. Soft, pretty, flirty, no reflective property to it. I just start on her apple of her cheek. If you don't know where your apple is, if you smile, it is definitely not the marionette line. It is right after. So we're just going to create a little soft C, but I like to buff this in on her skin. Go a little bit up into the temple, that way that color really lifts up, but I am not getting in this eye tissue area, because again, we don't want to show off any fine lines, right girl?
No, we don't.
Christy Green Walker has a comment.
Okay, I grew up with her. What's her comment?
What? No Botox yet? Is she doing something wrong?
No, Christy, you are beautiful how you are, girlfriend. Christy's been gorgeous since the day I met her. I used to always think she was just the prettiest girl I ever saw. So you need to teach this one. So
I'm headed there. I'm headed there.
She's headed there.
I'm headed there.
She's gonna get some.
I'm headed there after this. If they were open, I'd go after this. Tomorrow, maybe. Where do you go? I need a reference.
She needs a rec.
I need a reference.
All right, so for her, I am gonna use a tiny bit of bronzer, but this is my lighter baked bronzer because I don't want that defined contour. We're just gonna follow her hollows. If you don't know what your hollows are, it's when you suck in your cheeks like a little fishy face. There's your hollow. Not so hard. Anyway, just the back of the cheeks, girls. Just that little hollow.
What do you do, bronzing?
I am bronzing
Okay.
you. I am bronzing you, princess.
Okay.
We have to have a bronzed princess. Then I'm going to hit lightly under her jawline. And remember earlier when we worked on her neck? Just gonna lightly bring a little bronzer down the neck. And cat ears. Cat ears, people. Bronze your cat ears.
Oh, please.
That way it helps to cover up that receding bit. Not that you're receding, girl. You're not. She's not receding. Last but not least, we're gonna do a little bit of lips. So my favorite lip liner to use on her is S'more. S'mores. And it's kind of just a nice pink color, and more in the nude family. I don't overline her lips ever. I like to just keep it soft. Now sometimes, I was talking with a friend earlier and we were talking about an ombre lip. So you can always line a little more inside the lip, not necessarily outside to make it bigger, more on the inside, so follow your natural lip line. Line a little harder on the inside. And then when we do our liquid matte long lasting, then you've got that pretty ombre style. So I will say, when you're trying to do an ombre, it is so natural for us girls when we're applying a lip to want to rub our lips together right afterwards. You know, that put it on, and so with an ombre, you do not want to do that. So we lined inside just a little bit more. And I'm gonna take the liquid matte named Kirby, after my sweet little Kirby Lindley Long. And remember, we talked about mattes. I like to just roll a little bit off on the back of my hand. For most people, you can just take your finger, blot that in, but when doing an ombre, I want you to take a lip brush and just scoop it. Blend that on the inside here, avoiding that lip liner area. And another reason I don't want her to rub it together is because I want it to dry for a second. That way it stays really long lasting. If you don't care about it wearing all day, that's fine. You can go ahead and put your gloss on top. But if you let this just sit for a second, it's gonna just quickly dry into that nice little velvet tone. And just for time's sake, I'm not gonna wait a second. I'm gonna take the glass lip strobe. Again, I do not like getting my clear gloss dirty, so I'll just roll a little bit off on the back of my hand, scoop it up. And since I'm not trying to disturb this ombre, you're gonna press it in also. Seems like a lot of work to have pretty lips, doesn't it, ladies? But hey, we need them. We need our lips to look good, like this. All right. So I'll just finish her up with a little bit of setting spray. So I'll get you to close. Hold your breath. This definitely helps to reinforce keeping the humidity at bay. I tell you what, like, it is so hot outside right now. I think it's good that my makeup's high humidity, but let me tell you, a setting spray on top of that works wonders. So the only thing that we didn't do was mascara, but she can do that in a minute. I love hearing your comments. I love hearing your feedback. So if there's something that you guys want to see me talk about or do, or hey, if you even just want to volunteer and be my next model, just reach out, DM me. I already have volunteers.
Yes.
If you would like any of my wonderful Sensia products, you can always log on to sensiaiq.com.
Yes.
And for tonight, you can get a 20% discount if you use the code Ms. Lissa, MIZZLISSA. That'll get you
eyebrows microbladed by this one.
Thank you.
Yes.
So yes, we can do a little bit of anything.
Yes.
So thank you guys. Thank you for taking your time and watching me. I appreciate you, and have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like what you see, please follow us on all social and subscribe to our YouTube channel.